What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for jumping into another video. My name is Josh and I am just your average Joe day trader. Today is Monday, July 2nd, and I'm going to tell you guys what a day, what a weekend build up to market day today. Many of us, those that I typically trade with through my Discord, my trading group, we really believe that today was going to be basically a bull trap, a day that the market was going to run up and then the rug was going to get pulled on us, and we potentially thought the S&P 500 was going to drop and we were going to have a lot of issues today based on what the market would do based on the news. So let's talk about the news for a minute. This weekend was a crazy news cycle. Okay, forget the fact that we're in tariff shock, that we are saying that China is not cooperating. They haven't met the specific timeline that, we have asked of them. So Trump basically said that China has, failed to meet the, expectations of the tariff talk, etc. There's talk about the EU and the tariffs being imposed there, and that basically suspended until July 9th. There's also talks about steel, U.S. steel, and all steel, 50% tariffs on anything, steel related. There's just so much going on with tariff talk, guys. It's quite frankly, it's just freaking everybody out in the market. And that's where you see a lot of the volatility in the SPY, volatility in the market itself, and, overall fear in the market, people trying to figure out where do they put their money. Do they trade in and out of the market? Do they get in and out, or do they sit on the sidelines and wait? What I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, is that these are the best times to buy stocks and trade, because while the stocks that you love, the companies that you love are down, you can get in, you can buy them at a lower price point of cost per share and let it run up and make money, sell it, wash, rinse, repeat, guys. The fear in the market doesn't affect a retail day trader. Yes, long-term, our portfolios are red, 401k, retirement plans, all those things are being affected by all this. But when you're a retail day trader and you get in and out of stocks daily, not so much. Actually, almost a little bit helpful, because you can identify trends based on news, right? We always say, buy the rumor, sell the news. So when you hear a rumor about something specific for a company, a stock, sometimes you buy the rumor and you ride the rumor up, and then when the news comes out and you realize, well, that's got nothing to do with what the rumor was all about, you sell it, you get out, you make your money, you put it in the bank, and you run. So again, you have to sort of understand the news cycle and what's going on. The news all day Sunday was about drone strikes in Russia, that President Zelensky figured out how to ship in these storage containers, these ship containers, all of these drones that were ready to launch, and someone obviously had to be there to probably detach them, and open the tops so they're ready to go. But what an incredible operation that they put together, apparently over a year, to attack Russia and to go after military bases, military airplane, etc. And everybody was freaking out about, oh my gosh, Ukraine attacked Russia, this is one of the worst attacks, etc. But from all the reports I read, there were no injuries of people. People didn't die. They attacked targeted airstrips and targeted areas of Russia that potentially could launch attacks against Ukraine. I mean, it was very well put together. And I'm not a military expert. I'm not a operational expert. Okay. But it was very well put together. And everybody was freaking out. Oh my gosh, Ukraine did this. Ukraine did this. But what you didn't realize is, in the news, if everyone was paying attention, the day before, Russia attacked Ukraine with drones and blew up a bunch of communities, homes, and I think it was 31 people that died in that attack. So this is the back and forth that's been going on. But we all believed Monday morning when the market opened that the market was not going to like the news. They don't like war. They don't like the potential for wars. They don't like that the U.S. potentially get involved in having to figure out how to take side or help in a war. And it never does good in the market. But surprisingly enough, guys, the market actually did very well today. And one very specific stock that if you've been following me for a while, you know that I trade every day, APLD, Applied Digital, did amazing. And I'm going to do another video just on APLD because it's time for me to share with you my love affair with APLD and the reason why I trade APLD every day and what I love about APLD. And today was the proof that I've been waiting for APLD to show itself as one of the best, top, most amazing, the big, beautifulest, biggest, most beautiful stock, APLD, for day trading. So please log into one of the next videos and look for APLD. It'll be all over the thumbnail sketch of the video itself. But let's get into talk a little bit about what's going on today. Let's get into the charts. And you look here, first and foremost, the S&P 500 did not have a sell-off day today. Everybody, we all believed that we were going to run into a bull trap, that the market was going to pump, and then they were going to pull the cord, and it was literally going to drop. Now, this is on the 30-minute, so you can see that pretty much all day long, 30 minutes, we had nothing but upward trend mobility on the S&P 500. You can see we were running the post-market into pre-market at $584 or 5,848 points. Opened up in the market bell at 9:30, opened up at 587 or 5878. It's really closer to 5879, and ran and closed today at 5932, which you see here, it closed at 5927. It's sitting at 5915, and just a heck of a day for S&P 500. On a little bit of a downtrend in the 24-hour after market. You can see right now it's sitting at that 59. You can see right now it's sitting at 591.50, 59.15, but didn't do what we all thought. We thought that it was going to drop. We thought we were getting into the 570s, and it held well. Let's talk about the specific average Joe day trade stocks that I've already shared with you guys. If you hadn't seen these before, first of all, subscribe to the channel, because just about every video I either provide some sort of training or share with you my day trading journey. And so a lot to look at, a lot to talk about. I try to keep these as short as I can, but they're not. So let's get into what I believe right now are some of the best day trade stocks. You guys can make your own decisions, do your own homework, do your own research. I urge you to do that. Don't take this as financial advice. Don't make any decisions to buy, sell, hold because of me. But first and foremost on this list, we've got Serve Robotics. Serve Robotics had a pretty decent morning, opened up at 1168, ran up to the tippy top up here at about $12.28. That's pretty good. It's about a 40-cent plus swing, closed at $11.94, sitting at $12 per share. And I love Serve Robotics. SoundHound is the second one I love. Very similar companies. They had some struggles the last end of the week, along with everybody else, but still a very good company, and one that I strongly recommend as a company for you guys to take a look at. GTX, this is one I introduced to you guys a while ago. I've continued to trend this one. This is Garrett Motion. They actually create turbochargers with AI technology. And what's really kind of cool is I actually was watching some videos over the weekend, and Porsche is actually using some of the Garrett Motion technology and in their turbochargers. And not only that, but in their basically hybrid models where it's not an EV. They have the specific Porsches, and I don't know a whole lot about Porsche, specific Porsche models that use EV technology, and their turbochargers are based on this AI EV technology. Very cool. They didn't have the best market end of week, or even really today. You can see that they dropped down pretty good. Opened at 1049, dropped down to 1030. That's a pretty big swing. You're talking 19 cents drop. Then opened up here 1031, ran up to about 1044. That's pretty good. So if you caught it in that moment in time, it's pretty good. But came down all the way down to a low of 1013, closed at 1019, sitting at 1018. So not one I primarily am trading. I've been tracking and trending this one, and I really liked it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I thought it was a home run, but it's got some downward trend going right now. So it doesn't mean anything. I don't trade every stock that I say is the best day trade stock. I pick and choose the ones based on support, resistance, and the candlesticks. But this is one that I've been monitoring. I'm going to skip APLD for now. We're going to come back to that last. Ford, okay. Ford had a pretty good day. Let's go back to 15 minutes, okay. Pretty good day at the end of the day. Horrible opening day for Ford today. You can see they opened up at 1032, dropped all the way to 988. We'd been waiting for Ford to retest in this way a little bit for a bit of a correction with Ford. And I haven't researched exactly why they had this significant drop today. I was focused in the tech stocks today and really, like I said, was paying a lot of attention to APLD. But the end of the day run up was pretty nice from about 991, closed at 998. So you had about a 7-cent swing, depending on what you bought in at. Not too bad. SoundHound. Let's go here to SoundHound. Whoops. Okay, let's have it fit auto. Okay, here we go. So on a 30-minute, you can see that SoundHound had a pretty good run-up day. It opened hard. And then if you paid attention to this, okay, this is a 30-minute candle. And you go to 5 minutes and kind of look, what does that look like? So they ran down for a good period of that 30 minutes, just like Ford did, and then spent the rest of the day running up. So you can see here, 971 is the bottom of the low for the wick, and it ran all the way up here and closed at 997. It's sitting at $10. Serve Robotics, SoundHound are two of my favorites, guys. They're always extremely loyal companies as far as day trading, so keep an eye on those. CX, which is Cemex SAB. If you haven't heard me talk about that, this is a cement company. They actually, you see the big container, trucks with the spinning cement mixer. That's what Cemex SAB is. They basically make concrete. Had a bit of a, horizontal day. Not too much, not anything to be excited about today. BBAI also sort of ran horizontal today. Had some opportunities for up and down momentum. You can see it had somewhat a downtrend, but if you kind of look at this, and again in the 5 minute, good opportunity here, or you could have gotten in here at 389 and stayed in it all the way through to 11:55, almost noon, and that's a high of $4.10. So pretty good, 21 cents per share. But then ran down and kind of ran horizontal the rest of the day. JTAI, the volatility on this one is just so tough for me to really grasp it. Let's go to the 30-minute, give you a little better look at that. You can see that for the most part, it had a good run up day. You could have gotten in here somewhere in that 367, 370 range and ran it all the way up to a close 379, sitting at 386 right now in the aftermarket. So not too bad, but it's performed a lot better in the past. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I've day traded JTAI quite a bit in the past, and you can see a little bit more predictability in their patterns. SLDB was on fire. Okay. It continued pretty much in this trend. Let's get where we are. It had over several days a nice uptrend, and today was no different. SLDB continues to move up to the top of my list, but all the bioscience, all the therapeutics and those companies did very, very well today, and you can see no different. $3.06 ran all the way up to basically a high here of $3.69 at the top and closed at $3.54. This is a nice one. I'm going to be watching this one tomorrow to see if this is something that I want to trade in tomorrow. MYNZ, again, some volatility in MYNZ. This is one I've been telling you guys that I'm just not 100% comfortable with it yet. I own MYNZ, this biomed company, for a long hold. It's a Warren Buffett purchased company. They are doing all kinds of different cancer testing and research and things that have been successful. So a good company long term. I think it's going to come off this week, the day trade list. So it's not one that I'm interested in continuing to monitor or trend for day trading. MYSC, same thing. Not happy with it at all. You can see there's not really much to look at there. Even when I go to the 30-minute, you can see that it's just tough. This is a tough one to really, it's all over the place. Remember, every one of these red ticks and green ticks are another candle. So most likely MYSC SZ, my size, another one that I'm probably going to be pulling off the list. That's not going to be one that I'm going to be really excited about having as a day trade stock. But we're going to continue to track and trend it for a little while longer and then make some decisions on it. REKR is another one I've been monitoring. This one's pretty good. This one has not let me down. It's had some nice swings, some nice ebb and flow. You kind of have to really monitor the candles and understand what's going on. Had a pretty strong day, on the 29th, Thursday. Friday had some good opportunities to make some money in it. And then today, not the best. It had a hard drop and then an opportunity right here. But this is kind of like a quick in and out one. And it's at this dollar value, right? Guys, think about it. You don't want to be in a trade for a real long time. I trade APLD and sometimes I'm in it for the whole day and I'm monitoring it, but I trust it. I know what it's going to do. This one, not so much. So this might be one that you buy in, when you see the turn of the candle, you buy in it and then you get out of it pretty quick. Look at the 5 minute. You can kind of see here, this hard drop, and then it had a pretty consistent run up, and then it's just stayed sort of horizontal all day long. GFAI is the last one on this list here. And this one is another one that, again, I've been tracking and trending. Guard Force, good company, solid Guard Force AI, but not enough activity in here for me to get super excited about yet. So again, this may be something else that comes off the list, and then we're going to have to go look at some new ones. In a video I did earlier today talking about screeners and scanners that I use to pick these stocks, I found a couple new ones. Actually, right in the video as we were talking about stocks that had significant moves today. And one of them was Hecla Mining Company, HL. And you can see here that, although in prior days, the activity is not super, super great, but you can see like here 510 and pretty much, ran this all the way up to about 526. That's pretty good, 16 cents per share. Had some small opportunities, and again in the 5 minutes, some small opportunities that following day. But today it had enormous opportunity because Bitcoin was running. And so I'm assuming Hecla Mining, I'm still doing my research on what this company does, but it appears to be a bit mining company. And I could be totally wrong. Could be Hecla Mining, could have to do with, for all I know, mining companies, but anyway, so Hecla Mining, you can see, had a really incredible day today. Let's get a little bit bigger here. You can see it kind of opened up the market at 9:30 at 527, ran all the way up here to 573. That's a nice jump today. And then it ran somewhat horizontal through the day into the post market. So Hecla Mining is one I'm going to start trending. I'm going to do some support and resistance on it, kind of see what's going on. And I'm going to read the news and try to find out what the heck is going on with these days where it's like this enormous run, having some enormous runs, and see what exactly is Hecla Mining. Does it have to do with specific mining companies, or does it have to do with Bitcoin mining? And I have a feeling it might be that. But we're going to take a look at that. The other one that we looked at today as part of that, let me get back up here, is IAG. I am gold. Basically. And another one that has a lot of promise to it, and found it basically in its movement. Look at this huge gap it has to fill. Kind of filled it here. I mean, just looks pretty good. Look at this day it had today. So I'm going to be doing research on I am gold, IAG, and track and trend this one and see. This could be a winner for me at $7.50 basically. It fits right in that category for me between $5 and $10. So hopefully it is, and we'll see. And then let's go back to the average Joe day trade stocks. We hit GFAI as the last one. Last but not least, APLD, Applied Digital. And I'm going to do an entire video talking all about APLD because I haven't done one of those for you guys, and I want to share with you my love affair with APLD. But guys, today APLD had some incredible news. Let me kind of kick this off for you and just sort of tell you. Last week, okay, whoops, I totally just messed up that line. Last week, APLD had a very challenging couple days, okay? I was in APLD a few times, and then I got kind of locked up in APLD. Man, I'm messing up all my lines trying to move this chart. Got locked up in APLD at $7.27. So I held at 727. I decided not to sell it on that one specific day. I think it was actually Thursday, end of day. I was like, I'm not selling it because I felt like there was room more to go, and I wanted to see what Friday would bring. And what Friday brought was disaster for me. And 1,800 shares from $7.27 down to $6.80. And I was, most people would have been like totally devastated. I wasn't devastated though, because I've been trading APLD for a long time, and I knew that the drop down to $6.80 was actually awesome. And I'm going to show you what happened here. Okay, so let's get into the 5-minute. So what ended up happening was, if I can get to here, come on, baby. Okay, the post market, you can see that it had this big jump pre-market into post market on Friday. Okay, that's 8 p.m. It closed off at $6.80. Okay, it closed. It opened at 680, ended at closed at 670. It opened at 680, closed at 680. And then it ran up a little bit through the pre-market into the post-market. And so now we're in pre-market. Whoops, we're in pre-market. It's running 667. Okay, 667. I'm like, okay, not bad. But what I knew was that the news that happened Friday and into the weekend was that APLD, Applied Digital, was selling off their cloud-based branch, their cloud-based unit, basically, of their business. And in selling off their cloud base, there was a lot of talk about, oh, they're selling off because they got to make money. They're going to have huge debt. If they don't do something good, they're going to run out of money. They're going to be out of business, because they built a data center, right? They built this huge data center, and they were just waiting for a tenant. They were waiting for somebody to, sign an agreement to move into the data center, take over this data center in part. And they were hoping for a big client to take over, and sign an agreement in the data center. Well, sure enough, this morning it was announced, and this candle right here is, let's see what time this is, 8:05 a.m. They announced that they had secured a tenant, long-term tenant. I think it's a 15-year tenant, if I recall, but I'm going to do a video specifically on this whole thing. And it's CoreWeave. And guys, if you watched my videos from last week, you know that I started talking a little bit about CoreWeave and the fact that CoreWeave just signed off on a huge agreement with NVIDIA. Tons of money flowing now between NVIDIA and CoreWeave. CoreWeave stock was going crazy because of this agreement with NVIDIA. And then to hear that CoreWeave says, hey, APLD, we want to sign in to be your tenant for your data centers. And so now CoreWeave is signed and connected with APLD, connected to NVIDIA, which, if you didn't know this, NVIDIA owns $57 million in stock shares of APLD. So just a marriage made all the way around. And on top of that, it caused APLD to basically run this candle right here, okay, ran all the way up to a high of $8.10. I'm going to tell you that I was watching the market this morning, and all of a sudden I see this spike in APLD and shot through the roof. And I was like thinking like, oh, I'm at 667, 670, 675. Okay, let's kind of see what you do today, APLD. Let's see if I'm going to be getting out of the shares that I'm in from the Friday before. And it shot up to 810. And guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I always say, don't get greedy. If you see profit, take profit. That's the way I day trade. And I didn't have a full understanding of this news with CoreWeave yet. It wasn't even announced who the tenant was, but I saw the jump, and I sold out. I think I got out at 778 or 779, and I made like 1,700 bucks or 1,800 bucks. Very happy with that. I was done day trading for the day, honestly, just on APLD itself, and only to come to find that it continued running through the entire pre-market into the opening, and it had a high. Okay, it had a high today. Let me find it for you. $10.54. And it stuck.
It hung at $10.50. Look at this thing, guys. Okay. It actually hit at one point in post market 11.10. I left about $4,000 on the table. But you can't think of it that way, guys. Realistically, and as a retail day trader, I took profit. I'm blessed that I was able to make that money, and I get to live another day to fight and trade tomorrow. And that's how I always look at it. It's a blessing to make money when you didn't have it to begin with in the morning. And it was a great result overall. And now I've got to retrend and reset my support and resistance levels, because the word on the street is, to be totally fair, APLD, with the deal they made with Nvidia, they went to almost $13 per share. They're at 10.50 right now in the aftermarket. It's believed tomorrow APLD is going to run up. Just don't take that as financial advice. That's my opinion, that it's going to continue to run up through the week. And most likely, longer term hold, this is a $25 to $35 stock. And in my Robinhood account and my E-Trade account, where I'm holding shares, yes, I'm not touching any of those. So it's going to continue to run. But in the end of the day, long story short, APLD cranked today, and it was a beautiful day. And I'm going to throw my results here up on the screen so you can see it. Because when I talk about these bigger results, I do like to show you guys so you know that I'm not one of these guys that talks about it and it's not real. Just like I don't walk out in the garage and show you, my Lamborghini and my Ferraris and all that stuff parked in the garage, which I don't have. But some other YouTubers love to do that. Okay. And if you're starting to watch these videos this week with me, guys, I am going to share with you that my family and I are taking a week off vacation starting Saturday. We're going on the MSC World America Cruise Line for a week-long cruise. Can't wait to do it. It was a present for my son for Christmas and for straight A's for the year. We booked this cruise to take my son. So my wife and I and just my youngest son are going on this cruise together. But I've still got some videos in the queue that are going to load for you during the week. So don't worry. And I may jump in and do either some live streams or do some shorts while I'm on the cruise. But anyway, guys, listen, if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, click that notification bell. Let me know, drop me some comments how you guys feel. And lastly, I did put a survey on my YouTube channel, on this Average Joe Day Trader channel, asking if I were to start a Discord, would anybody be interested in joining? If you might be interested, free of charge. I'm not going to be charging anybody. We'll have to make a decision based on how many people I let in initially to this Discord, where we talk daily about the best day trade stocks. I share current news, current events, things like that. And we work together as a community where everyone gets to share it. Everyone gets to have a voice. I'm considering it and praying about it. I've had a few people already respond. They're in, they're excited about it. So I hear you guys. It just has to be the right thing. So if you're interested in that, drop a comment, let me know, or go to the post and vote on there so I know you are interested, and we'll go from there. Guys, have a great rest of your night. Excited to see what tomorrow morning brings for us in another awesome day trading journey. Josh out. Peace.